for offering such an awesome lineup for this yoga month. I'm very honored to kick it off. Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I've got to tell you, I've really been looking forward to this. I love this topic of conversation, and I just saw someone in the chat, Megan, told Shannon that she has a great voice. She should be on commercials. I agree. I was actually thinking the same thing when she was giving that announcement. And that is so appropriate for the topic of conversation today. So, this conversation is all about finding your unique teaching voice and learning to project without feeling like you have to yell and learning where that comes from. So, to begin, I saw where you're all calling in from. I saw some Colorado and some Arizona. I'm a Colorado native and I currently live in Arizona. But next, I would love to hear from you in the chat how long you have been teaching and what specifically it is that you teach. So let us know that. And as you're typing that in the comments, I'll start by sharing a little bit more about me. I have been a yoga and meditation teacher for the past 15 years. I have also been a yoga teacher trainer and continuing education provider. And throughout that time, I have taught this in a variety of settings, both in teacher trainings, workshops like this, and more. And I've got to tell you, the thing that I see time and time again is teachers having a hard time really finding their voice and projecting that voice with confidence. And let me tell you what, I was there myself. When I first started teaching, I was nervous. Everyone thinks of yoga teachers as, hey, we're happy to be out in front of the public and we have no problem with public speaking. Well, let's prove that theory right or wrong. Anyone who's interested, tell us in the chats. Do you have a fear of public speaking? Oh, this is great, y'all. This is great. We've got some new teachers. We've got some real seasoned teachers. We've got everything in between. I love it. Yeah, so we're getting yes, still fear public speaking, not anymore. No fear. I love it. So the point is there's a broad gamut of people in this webinar, and that's amazing. Also, there's a broad range of what it means to find your voice effectively. Now, we could deep dive this for hours, but we only have 45 minutes because I want to leave us time for questions. So I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to give you some information to kick it off, and then we're going to do some experiential and interactive practices together. Okay. So, I am curious, and this can be a question for your self-reflection, but what is your biggest challenge currently with your teaching voice? So think about that as you then begin to reflect on the last time that you taught a class. For some of you, that may have been today. But think about the last time that you taught a class and how it felt when you spoke. And how did you feel your students responded? Were you feeling pretty confident and satisfied in the way that you were speaking? Were you teaching thinking, I could have done this differently. I could have spoken up a little louder here. Some of my students seem to not hear me in the back row. And none of this is through a lens of judgment. This is all about self-reflection. Because as you're thinking about that, it's interesting that voice projection is rarely covered in depth in trainings and things like that, and yet it's so foundational to confident and clear teaching. Whether you are newer to teaching or a seasoned instructor like many of you, you've likely experienced moments where you felt unsure about how your voice was landing in the room, right? And so maybe your students couldn't hear you clearly, or maybe you felt like you were yelling just to be heard. So today we are going to explore ways to project your voice in a way that helps you to feel grounded, confident, and also sustainable. So you could go on doing this for a long period of time. And we're also going to explore different aspects of projection, such as your tone, your physical stature, things like upspeech, filler words, and vocal delivery. So with that said, love looking at the comments here. Thank you all for being so interactive. Ooh, Sharon, imposter syndrome is such a big one. I'm going to touch on that a little later. I love this. So thank you all for sharing. Please do continue to share because truly everyone uplifts this experience and brings their own unique perspective. So keep it coming. I'm loving this. And now, again, self reflection or share in the chat with us. Do you find yourself speaking quietly when you feel unsure or nervous? Or another way of saying this is, have you ever noticed that the way that you speak shifts when you are uncertain or nervous? And also, do you feel that you are effectively using your voice in a way that reflects the energy that you want to bring into the space? Or in a way that creates the container that you want to create for your students? And we ask these things because our voice is one of the most powerful tools that we have as a yoga teacher. It sets the tone of the room, it communicates our energy, and it can guide our students into presence. So when we use our voice intentionally, it can instill a sense of calm and safety, it can hold the container with clarity and presence, and it can also really help you to create the tone if you want it to be energizing, grounding, all of these things. And yet, as teachers, we also know that our energy introduces us. So, if we don't feel confident using our voice, we might hold back, we might speak softly. Think about if you were feeling like you were having imposter syndrome. Are you going to project proudly and confidently? Or are you gonna maybe talk like this because you're feeling unsure and you're feeling a little bit nervous, right? And so you can see the difference, not just in how it sounds, but in my body language. And we will touch on that as well. And so when we do have nerves, whether it's we're nervous to do public speaking or we walk into the room and the class is full and we weren't expecting it, maybe we're dealing with something challenging in our personal lives. And let's face it, when life happens, it's not always easy to flip that switch as teachers and walk into that room anyway, right? And so I share this because when we are going through a challenging time, what is happening with our nervous system? Our nervous system is in a fight or flight. So everything is upregulated, and that is going to even affect the way in which we speak, right? And so something as simple as, let's do this all together, taking a deep breath in through your nose and taking a deep sigh out of your mouth. Ah. Let's do that twice more together. Deep inhale, deep sigh. Good. Last time. Inhale deeply and exhale. Then, if you feel comfortable to close your eyes, otherwise soften your gaze and just take a moment to notice if you can detect any little shift. So many of you in the comments are speaking on when you're not feeling grounded, right? When you do feel nervous, what happens with that anxiety? So the quickest way to override that is by taking a deep breath. Now, if you're saying, okay, duh, Ashton, we know that we are yoga teachers after all. Well, don't worry, we're going to get more into it. But my point is that sometime, Dave, Dave's quoting Eminem lyrics in the chat. I love it so much, but it's true. Sometimes we get these physical symptoms of our anxiety, of our stress, of our nerves. And so this absolutely impacts our ability to speak. And so counteractively, when you do feel grounded, when you are able to really step into a sense of power and presence and purpose in your teaching, how does that change? How does that change your voice? Maybe Dave's palms are not sweaty. How does that impact your body language? And also, what most helps you get into that place of feeling downregulated from a nervous system standpoint and also grounded from an energetic standpoint? For each of us, the answer might be different, but the point is knowing that answer for ourselves and then using it is key. So, again, close your eyes or try not to look directly at me when I mumble a yoga cue. Pretend you're a student in my class, but I'm behind you so you can't see me. Okay, everyone, come into warrior two, bring your arms into a capital T position, bend into your front knee and settle into your feet. How did that make you feel? Because even I felt a little rushed, a little anxious, a little, what is she asking me to do? But with presence and a sense of purpose, I can say the same things and it completely changes the delivery. All right, everyone, bring your right foot up between your hands as we pivot the back heel down and we will windmill the arms open into warrior two. Take a deep inhale and with your exhale, settle into the pose. Now, I didn't plan that cue ahead of time, but the point is when I speak it with clarity and authority, it lends the students a sense of confidence. They know what I'm asking, they know what they need to do. So it's a lot about the tone, right? And then a lot of you were also sharing, sometimes you feel like you're yelling and people think you're upset or something, but really you're just struggling to try to be heard. So here is a cue I'm going to yell, and it's going to come more from my throat, right? Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. So that's all up here. And now all of our mics are muted. So from the comfort of wherever you are behind your screen, you do the same thing. Try to yell the cue as if you were trying to be heard above a sea of voices. So yell it out right now. Inhale, lift your arms. So where did you feel that when you yelled it? Throat. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So already my throat is feeling a little bit raspy. Now, raise your hand, if you have ever taught more than one class in a row. So when I first started teaching yoga in my younger days, I would teach five. This is not healthy. I don't recommend it. Five hot yoga classes back to back to back, starting at 6 a.m. By the time I got done, my voice, oh my goodness, and I had a microphone. So think about how long you could possibly last speaking from your throat. Amanda gave it away with the diaphragm. She knows exactly where you're headed. So, yes, absolutely. Now, if we're talking about the yelling that came from the throat, if you were to project, you would actually let that projection originate from the diaphragm. So let's locate the diaphragm. The diaphragm is that sheet of muscle that's right beneath the ribs. So you feel that. And so, oftentimes we hear it stated more plainly, like project from the belly, project from the stomach. Well, really, it's that diaphragm muscle. And as teachers, we understand the power of mind-body connection. So if you bring one or both hand to the sheet of muscle there, you're activating the awareness of that place. And now let's all together say that cue again. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Now I'm curious if you could actually feel that diaphragm muscle activate when you spoke. You can tell me, or you can, yeah, good. I love to see it. So thank you for interacting. It gives me a sense of good. We're on track. Yes. So, sorta. Okay, good. Sarah, thank you for your honesty. So, we're going to do some more practices to help us find it. So, if you're still feeling a little wavering, don't worry. This is just the start. So great work with that, everyone. Now, the next part is I want you here to think about your own voice confidence as it currently stands, and let's rate it on a scale from 1 to 5. So 1 being you've got next to no confidence in your teaching voice. 5 is like, I am fully confident. Hold on to that number for now. We're going to revisit it at the end and you'll get to reassess. So when we want to project, sometimes it's not about not knowing how, it's a deeper energetic aspect. It could be nervousness. It could also be a fear of being too much or of taking up too much space. Sometimes we're afraid of sounding unnatural if, we tend to be more of a soft-spoken individual. So I'm curious, rhetorically, if this is resonating with anyone. I know we had some people who have imposter syndrome, right? So I'm curious, if you would like to fill in this self-reflection journal prompt. And you can do this reflectively or in the chat, but when I'm nervous, I tend to, versus when I feel confident, my voice sounds. And this continues our self-awareness around what happens when we're in each of these places. So for those of you who are working on on affirming that you are an effective teacher with your projection, we can work with affirmations. And this, for some people, is a very powerful tool for preparing before class. So we can do the affirmation of my voice is clear, confident, and grounded. Or I speak with purpose and presence. You can say it before class. You can say it in the mirror. You can say it as you are practicing projecting. Okay, these are excellent responses, everyone. Thank you for sharing. Please feel free to continue. I'm sharing those affirmations in the chat. Some of us work great with affirmations and mirror work. Some of us like the practice of locating the diaphragm and working on the projection. So let's now continue our work with the diaphragm. So you can do this standing because I know that gives you kind of a more accurate portrayal of what it is like teaching. So you're welcome to stand up. If you stay seated, sit up nice and tall and tall through your spine, right? So just like we're cueing our students to stand tall in a mountain pose, I want you to do the same. And now I want you to bring a hand over your stomach and a hand over your chest. Inhale deeply through your nose and exhale with a ha sound. So we did that before, but now it's a focus on that audible HA ha. So let's do it again. Inhale. Ha. Good. And we're trying to get the ha to project. So imagine that you had someone on the opposite side of your home behind a closed door and you want them to hear you saying ha. Okay? So let's do that again. Inhale. Ha. Okay. So I'm wondering where you feel that ha landing. Many of you said that your voice gets thinner when you're nervous. So that happens a lot when we are chest breathing. And we chest breathe when we're upregulated, right? When we have an upticked nervous system, what's happening? Shallow little breath sips of air in the chest. But when we take deep, full belly breaths, we're coming from that deep, expansive space in the diaphragm, our body's natural pump. Behind our lower ribs, it contracts to create breath pressure. So that breath pressure is what carries your sound. And I love that. So think about it like this. Projection begins with the breath. Let your breath carry your voice like we did with that ha, as opposed to your throat like we did when we were yelling, right? So notice that difference and let me know if we have questions, if we want to talk about it further. Jenna, the lungs vibrated. Yes, that's actually a really great description. That's how I feel too. You feel that resonance deep in the chest and the torso, right? So how's this landing so far? A little check-in. I know we're kind of scooting through things, but that's because I want to make sure we have plenty of time for our exercises, for the rest of our exercises and our practices. Okay, awesome. Thank you both. Thank you. Awesome. Wonderful. Not just both, all of you. Thank you. Okay, so moving on down the list. The next thing about projection is that there's a common misconception that it means just increasing our volume. But true vocal projection is actually more about our resonance and our breath support. So we learned about the breath support through the diaphragm practice that we just did. And let's speak a little bit more on resonance because as teachers, we also are well aware that we're going to use a different voice for guiding our students through Shavasana or through a short meditation to open or close the practice than we would in an active teaching voice at the height of a power vinyasa flow, right? So when we're doing those slower guided practices, it's a soothing, slow, supported by breath voice, as opposed to that active teaching voice, which is clear, It's rhythmic, right? And so I saw someone in the comments deftly note that a lot of our teaching with our voice has to do with pauses. So I'm sorry I missed the name of who said that earlier, but that is an excellent note because it helps when we can take purposeful pause. It can be very effective if we are the type of teacher who like to weave a story or sort of a message through our teaching. It can be very effective if we are teaching a more technical class that requires a lot of cues. So these are also things to be taking into consideration. Now, a fun thing to practice is the difference between your Shavasana tone, let's call it, and your active teaching voice. So let's practice our Shavasana tones together. And again, you're just doing this at home with me. So the Shavasana cue is let your body relax. You are safe to fully rest now. So let your body relax. You are safe to rest fully now. So notice as you are repeating that a few times, that though the tone is softer and more soothing, you are still able to employ the diaphragm to really work with that breath projection. And as questions come up, so if anyone's like, I'm not quite getting that, let us know in the comments and we can address that a bit later. But we're going to keep it moving by now practicing a power pose, okay? So we're going to say, and keep in mind, this tone would require motivation, right? Helping them keep going even though it's difficult. So this would be more of a, with your inhale, shift forward to the top of a plank. We're going to hold here for a count of 3. Keep your core strong as we stay for a count of 2. Now, of course, this is just an example. You don't have to sound like me, but I am demonstrating that it is still a projection, but that tone and the cadence can change to convey more of the motivation, the upbeat energy. So these are fun things to play around with as well. Now, here is a homework assignment, a takeaway homework assignment for you to do. And some of you are going to be excited. Some of you are going to say, ooh, I don't know about this. But hear me out. I want you to record yourself on your phone. So to just take a little video of yourself, you can put it on a tripod, you can prop it up against something. What we want to see here is, or I guess here is you giving these cues. And this is going to be a really powerful way of you getting to witness for yourself these different tones and the different resonance and projection that you can take. So you can basically set yourself up what we've done so far, and you can guide your students in the video through a 30-second power flow, through 30 seconds of Shavasana. You can also play with being directly near the phone, like if you were seated amongst all of your students, versus if you were on the other side of the room. And this, like I said, can be really irksome to some of us who don't love the idea of having to watch and listen to ourselves, but it can be one of our greatest tools as teachers. So, with that being said, the more you practice, the more you're going to feel confident in this work. So this brings us to some warm-ups that we can try and that I always have my students go through during teacher training to not only teach them really the application of these techniques, but to also come back to anytime before class or anytime they want to, keep this practice going. What's also fun about these practices are that many of them are used in theater as well as for singers. So these are well-versed practices, and I think you're going to enjoy them. The first one, we have done it. This is the diaphragmatic breathing with sound. This is the deep inhale and the powerful ha exhale. And you want to say the ha as if you're trying to fog up a moon in front of you. So you're really trying to project from the back of the throat like ujjayi, but also deep into the diaphragm and the belly as well. So what we add on to this breathing technique now is after we say ha, we're going to challenge ourselves to stay in that same tone as we then say a cue, okay? So we're gonna go back to the inhale, reach your arms up overhead. So take a deep inhale with me. Take an HA ha, and now keep that same projection in your voice and say, inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Do it again. Inhale with me. HA ha, and now say, inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Last time, inhale. Ha. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Okay. So that is the first one. We're going to move right along. If you have questions or you want to share your experience of how it goes, thank you, Sarah. Let me know as we move into number 2. All right, y'all. Number 2 is my personal favorite. In fact, in my latest book, 101 Mindfulness Practices for Anxiety, this is the first practice in the breathwork chapter. It is horse lips breath. Let me know if you have heard of horse lips breath before. Anyone? Anyone? Well, you know how after a horse neighs, it typically goes, oh, well, it doesn't go, it goes, now I can't do it. Okay, after a horse neighs, usually they like that. So I gave myself away though, because that's horse lips breath is the inhale. And then through the exhale, you press the air out through loose pursed lips. If you're not sure, or if you ever need to brighten up your day, go onto YouTube and search for my horse lips breath tutorial. I do it in slow motion. Oh, is that something to see? So let's try it together. Yes. Okay. I'll tell you what, my friends, I teach in person at YogaPod Tucson, and my students now do it habitually, whether I cue it or not, because it's so addicting, it's so effective. So I bring it into basically every class I lead because they love it and it's fun. And once you get the hang of it, it's accessible. So let's try it together. Inhale through your nose. Exhale. Good. Yeah. Shira says that she loves to use horse lips breath with a forward fold. Yes, I love it. I love to do it in down dog personally. So play with that. That can be another fun homework assignment for you all. But what this does is this loosens you up. It loosens up the muscles in your face. It loosens up the throat. It is essentially a vocal warm up, but it is also very grounding energetically. So it's a quick hack to prepare you right before you step into that room to teach. And this is also a real go-to for singers before performing. So that's a fun one. And as some of you mentioned, a great one to get the students involved with as well. All right. The next one is called resonance humming. So for those of you who are familiar with bee's breath, bee's breath is the form of pranayama where we hum with our eyes and lips closed, and sometimes also by withdrawing all the senses. So this is a simplified version of that. This will activate the voice that resides deep in your chest and belly. It will help to relax the vocal cords. It also tones your vagus nerve, so a little added benefit for your nervous system regulation, and it will help you to find a fuller and rounder tone. So here's how it begins. As you probably guessed, you will close your mouth, seal your lips, and then begin to hum on a steady tone. And the invitation for you is to start low in your range. So not at the top, try hmm. And notice where you're feeling the vibration. It might be different, but just notice where you're feeling the vibration. Hmm. And now take a breath for your next round. Try to say like you're agreeing with someone, like So as you're humming, right? I hope that's carrying through in the video. But much like we did the ha, and then try to keep that resonance as you then speak your cue, for some of my students, it works better for them after the hum. So try it with me now. So take a hum, and then find a natural tone, how you would say, and then say your cue right after. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Mm. Mm-hmm. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Why I have to actually lift my arms up overhead every time, I don't know. I follow directions. So that one also can help to prevent that common thin and airy voice that some of us feel that we get sometimes with teaching. So how did those go for you? And if you would like to share, just let us know which practice most resonated with you. I love to do that little poll and just see. I'm always so curious. But yeah, I love the bee's breath is the best for kids. Kids love all the animals, right? So all the animal poses, all the animal breaths, absolutely. Good. Yeah, Sherry, I love it. Good. Awesome. I love it. Yeah, it does. I'll tell you, I'll warn you right now, everyone. The horse lips breath, that's addicting. I should have told you ahead of time. You're going to be doing it all day now. Watch. But that's good because as teachers, we are leaders. And as leaders, people follow our example. So someone's going to hear you doing horse lips breath. They're going to do it. And now our positive ripple effect continues. Your dog is captivated. Oh, Sharon. I'm the animal lover over here. If we could chat photos, I would insist that everyone share their pet photos now, but I digress. Let's carry on. So, thank you all for sharing. Now, I'm going to ask you once more to either close your eyes or just look away from the screen so that you can practice hearing what I'm going to demonstrate. Okay? So, look away, please. Look away. Divert your eyes. I'm going to say something in two different ways, and then I'm going to ask you a question about it. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here today. Okay, stay looking away. I'm going to say it one more time in a different way. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here today. So my question for you is two-part. One, could you hear a difference between the two times I said that greeting? Part two, any guesses as to what the difference was? Okay, good. We got a lot of differences. That's good. Anyone want to guess the difference? Ooh. Okay, while that is an excellent guess, oh, now we're getting them rolling in. Ooh, okay. Those of you who said the second one was with a smile, you were correct. It is incredible. The second one sound nasally. That's just me. So the first one I said, and I'll do it again now that we're watching, the secret's out. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. It's so hard to do without expression, but there was no expression. The second one, hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. Incredible, right? And so I've been teaching primarily online for the majority of my career, and I learned early on through the camera, and I saw some of you are virtual teachers as well, the amazing difference the voice can sound like with that change in facial expression, right? Incredible. So, in addition to how the smiling changes the voice, what does it do for the student, for the listener? I'm not even talking if they see me smile or not. Whether or not they see me, when they hear that smile, ooh, that's poetic. When they hear that smile, subconsciously they now feel welcomed. They feel safe. They feel like this is a warm, welcoming, inclusive environment. In fact, some of you said that the first round of when I spoke, the time that I had a neutral face, I didn't sound friendly. It felt a lot of different great words you used. And that's the point. So it's incredible. And then Katie just said something very important as well. Katie says, I've noticed when I smile while teaching, I tend to be more confident. Bam. So many of you have probably heard how the brain doesn't know the difference between a genuine smile when we're laughing or if we're just faking that smile. Either way, it sends signals to the brain that, okay, we're happy, we're safe, we're confident. So that can go a long way, not just for creating the tone for the students, but also for how you're feeling internally. Um, so yes. Oh, thank you, Nicole, for sharing that. Nicole's phrase while teaching is smile to decrease tension. Lovely. So I love that. It's one of the most powerful and simple ways to change our tone is having a smile on the face. That slight lift in the facial muscles changes the shape of our vocal tract and brightens the tone. So isn't that fun? And try it for yourself. Say, I'm so glad you're here with a big smile on your face, and then say it without. Good. A few other tips. Try not to rush. I know it's easier said than done, especially if you're up against the clock or you're feeling like you've got to get them to the next pose, but let your words land. Less can truly be more, okay? Also, vary your inflection so your voice doesn't feel flat, just as we practice with smiling. If you teach the whole time like this and there is no difference in your tone, students don't really get a clear indication of if they're doing good, if you're upset, if something is wrong, if something is great. But when you change your tone and you are doing an excellent job, and now let's have everyone drop into a child's pose and take a few deep breaths before we continue. All right, everyone, let's press up to downward facing dog. Let's take a deep breath and let's continue our flow. Right? So all those little variations can truly set the tone of where we headed next. And as many of you pointed out, let silence be part of your rhythm and part of your teaching. Okay, so we are now moving to the part where we are going to uncover some habits to notice. And when I mentioned filming earlier, filming can really help us with that. Now, as Shannon introduced me, I founded YA Classes, which is our online yoga, meditation, and fitness app and platform. So we have over 700 online classes. Not just with me, we've got dozens of teachers on our platform. So these teachers, when they get filmed, we always ask, watch your class, come back and watch your class. They're excellent teachers, they're doing a great job, but as teachers, we're always also perpetual students, right? And there's always more to learn and grow from. And so when our teachers, including myself, watch our videos, we realize, oh, I didn't even notice I said that. For one of our teachers who is excellent and one of our lead teachers, one of her sort of verbal fillers that she uses all the time is, I want you to. Now, if we were to say that once or twice throughout our class, no big deal. I'm pretty sure I've said it once or twice today. Picked it up from her. But when she says it after every third cue, you better believe that gets very distracting. So when she watched that first class, she was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea, right? So here's a couple other ones that I see a lot, whether it's when I take a class or when I'm filming with other teachers or when I'm in teacher trainings. There's a lot of up speech going on, and maybe you've heard other teachers do this too. It goes like this. I'll guide you into warrior two. All right, everyone, find a forward fold. With your next breath, we're going to take a halfway lift. So notice how it sounds like I'm asking a question. And then notice how from there, that doesn't lend a lot of credibility. You don't have a lot of faith in me as a teacher, even if it's just on a subconscious level. If it constantly sounds like I'm questioning it, even if I'm not questioning it, it just happens to be that I'm putting that up speech on the last word or syllable. If it happens enough, it becomes a distraction and it sends a message, as opposed to the clear and definitive. And now let's find our warrior two. So it's a simple difference, but a big one. And again, if you're recognizing some of these might be you, you've done nothing wrong. This is a beautiful act of self-reflection and noticing and deepening our self-awareness. So up speech can be a big one. And if you're interested in learning some of this more, you can, again, you can revert to the recording yourself and you can say cues 3 times with different intonations, with different tones, and just practice what it sounds like to say it in different ways. And if you are a person who has upspeech, practice ending your sentences with confidence. And in part, that is about dropping the tone slightly at the end. So I want you to find warrior 2 as opposed to I want you to find warrior 2. Okay. Filler words, another big one. Again, not the end of the world, but as we're talking about projection and teaching and guiding people with our voice, the words we say are absolutely, at least in my opinion, a part of that voice. So common filler words, like, you know, so. So with your next breath, let's find warrior 1. So in warrior 1, you're going to want to relax your shoulders down away from your ears and then spiral your pinkies inward and then bend into your front knee. Versus in warrior 1, take an inhale as you relax your shoulders down, spiral the pinkies inward, and bend deeper into your front knee. All right. The filler words tend to creep in when we're nervous or when we're trying to fill space. So I in no way want you to beat yourself up about this. The invitation is to become aware. And then, as we've talked about so much, you can allow a pause. Instead of having to fill it, just allow that pause. And if it makes your students look around and wonder, that's okay too. It's good for our students to not be able to know and anticipate every single thing that's happening next, right? So maybe you have a chronically used or overused saying that could use some refreshing at this point. So I use the example of I want you to. All right, I'm going to admit to you all mine. Are you ready to hear mine? I've got 2 actually. So good is the first one. I have a couple friends who make fun of me, and every time I see them, they say, "Ooh, so good," because I say that too much in class, and I know it. And now my latest one, when I teach an upbeat class, is I go, "Woo-wee!" And I say it so much that for my birthday last month, a student made me a bracelet that says "woo-wee" on it. So that's how you know I'm overusing that word. And so I laugh because it's okay. It's okay. We're just putting it all out there. And I'm saying I'm right there with you. That's why I'm teaching this, right? Because I've learned, I've done this work, I've worked through it myself and with my students and my clients and my teachers. And thank you all for sharing yours. I love the we're going to. Yep, yep. Thank you. Yep. Oh, sorry if I made a mistake. Okay, Joyce raises a great question. I would love to pause, and we're wrapping it up, so we're about to hit full Q&A anyway. But Joyce, excuse me. Yeah, you don't need to apologize, my love. First of all, you're human. So if you do make a mistake, honestly, I love that for the students because they go, "Oh my gosh, look at her. Joyce is human too. She's just like us." So some of the time you don't even need to acknowledge it. Just keep moving forward. Other times you can say, "Excuse me," or simply pause and then correct yourself, say what you meant to say, right? So, of course, that takes a little bit of discernment between each individual case, but absolutely no need to apologize. And especially as women, we should apologize less for things that we really don't need to be apologizing for. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so no, I'm sorry to interrupt, but no, you're fine, love. Okay, you're allowed to make mistakes, and when you do, own it and move on. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if we can expand on that a bit. Um, all right. So let's see. So we've gotten through the final thing that I want to touch on, and then we will open it up for our full Q&A, is our posture. And we spoke about this a little in the beginning. So some of us, when we are nervous or when we've had a very stressful day, whatever it may be, some of us respond by the body language, right? The physical. So think about when you're the most upset, sad, angry, overwhelmed. Many of us kind of tend to hunch and round in and come forward like this, right? That could also be how we act if we're nervous or feeling like we're going through an imposter syndrome. So, how am I supposed to project when I feel my diaphragm is being compressed right now and my heart's kind of closed off? My throat is definitely closed off. So, do this with me just to feel it. It feels kind of icky. It feels a little like it feels like a weak stance, you know? Um, but then straighten up with me. Get nice and tall as if you were demonstrating proper alignment and sit up tall, put your shoulders back, chest proud, heart lifted, tall through the spine. This is where our full breath capacity comes from. And not only this, but this is our confidence. And if you are at home and you can stand up, I invite you to do that and to take your feet wider than hip width distance apart. Bring your hands to your hips and feel your power in that stance. Feel that power stance, which is literally what it's called. And this is an excellent way to give your diaphragm and your lungs their full potential. So that's a great one. Okay, the next one, as I mentioned with the feet, is grounding. So if you were to shift forward on the toes or back on the heels, you're not going to feel totally stable. And if you're not feeling totally stable, so I'm kind of reenacting it now by rocking back and forth, instead, that's going to carry through in your voice. In fact, I notice that I'm speaking higher up here in my throat. That's interesting. I wasn't even doing that intentionally. So, really feeling grounded through the feet, or even if you're sitting, like if you're teaching a yin class or it's the end of class, you can be seated, but still have this upright posture and this groundedness in your body. Finally, as we know as teachers, an open, upright posture conveys confidence. It also embodies authority, right? They know what they're doing. They are standing up there with confidence. I feel safe in their hands. Also, it optimizes your acoustics and it tells the room, I'm confident. And again, as I mentioned, our energy introduces us. So our students pick up on that as well. So, most importantly, keep practicing. Your teaching voice will continue to evolve as your confidence and your experience grows. I'm going to place your little homework assignment in the chat. Should you choose to do it, would love to have you keep that work going. And then I would also now love to open it up for questions. You are also welcome to share how your overall experience went today, what you most enjoyed, what you most resonated with. And as you're doing that, I'm just going to put a couple more pieces of information in the chat for you. Namely, I would love to hear from you. So please reach out to me, excuse me. I also am a consultant and coach in the yoga and wellness space. So I work one-on-one with teachers, healers, to help them start or expand their teaching, their brand, their small business. And I am so passionate about that work. I think you could tell, right? So if you are interested in that or anything else, even if you just have questions, you want to stay connected with me, I will be sending a follow-up email. So you can look forward to that. I wanted to share, I'm actually at my grandfather's house. It's rather unexpected. We had a little bit of an emergency, so I'm here taking care of him. I'm sharing that with you because, to be realistic, I probably won't send you that email until Monday. That's my life right now. But I will look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for all of your sweetness in the comments. I'm gonna make sure I'm keeping my eyes on this as you continue to share. Hi, Shannon. I know Shannon is back. Thank you all. Thank you, Shira. Love that. Oh, someone says they haven't seen what I've been putting in the chat. Is that true for more people? It might be that you're missing it because it goes by rather fast. Yeah. Um, but let's see. What else? Thank you very much, Wanda, for that feedback. Thank you, everyone. Um, Good refresher and learn some new things. I love to hear it. Oh, good. I'm so, so grateful for all of you for being here. Karen is practicing her cues in the chat. I love that. Yeah, I'm just really appreciating all this feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Ashley, for your comment about my family. And I also want to make sure that we don't have any questions as I'm combing through. I don't think I've seen any. Oh, Kathleen, I want to thank you very much for the work that you do in trauma for sexual assault and domestic violence. That is incredible. I do teach trauma informed, and I am very passionate about that. Thank you for the work that you do. If I can support you in any way, you please let me know. That's true for all of you. Let's see.
We did have a question come in from both Megan and Lynn, both asking how to get the CE credit for attending the webinar today.
Absolutely. Okay. So if you want a CE credit for this webinar today, you will have my contact info. Please email me directly and I will get that submitted for you. And I can put that in the chat, Shannon?
Yeah, we will also be including the information in the follow-up email that includes the recording. So we'll have your contact information as well as some brief instructions on how to claim the credit.
Wonderful. And again, everyone, I so appreciate you understanding the human reality of my grandfather and family situation right now. So same goes for the credit. I will absolutely get that for you next week. I it's a 24/7 job right now. I just have a caregiver here helping while I'm doing this webinar. So I so appreciate everyone's understanding of that. But yes, we'll get that done for you all. And I just want to say, as a reflection back to you all, I am so impressed and inspired by this group. You are clearly so committed to your teaching and you're passionate about it. And to see you show up and give it your all and engage in the chat, I'm so grateful and I'm quite inspired, as I said, and I just love all the work that you're all doing out in the world. So thank you. And
Perfect.
of
I am.
course,
There was a couple of requests to just drop your email in the chat if they'd like to just contact you directly, if that's okay with you, Ashton.
yes, absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah, I will pull that in the chat right now.
Just dropped it for you.
Oh, you did. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know I'm seeing some comments that people aren't seeing my comments and I see them on my end amidst everyone else's. That's not to say that it's working on y'all's end, but I think what's happening is we're getting so many that it's just getting lost higher up than you would expect. But oh, this is just such lovely, lovely words. Thank you all. What a great group. Can we all get together for virtual
Awesome.
coffee or something? Come on. I love our
Yeah.
community. This is great. We are doing a giveaway, by the way. So as you know, everyone, this is Yoga Month and beYogi all goes all out for Yoga Month. We love beYogi over at You Aligned, my company. And so we're actually doing a giveaway this month for a free membership to YA Classes, my platform. And as teachers, you know, it's so important to maintain your personal practice. So definitely look out for that. And everyone can receive a free 30 days. We're going to include that in the follow-up. So again, practice with me. Take my classes if you loved my teaching today. That's a great way to continue working on your own voice. I know many of you said you want to emulate aspects of how I taught today. And you're right. Where did I get this from? From my mentors and teachers. So absolutely. Let's see. I know we have a couple more minutes, Shannon, so I'm just continuing to.
Yeah, of course. I just want to reiterate one more time Ashton's contact information, all of her links, more information on Yoga Month, all of that good stuff will be included in the follow up email that you will be receiving.
Yes,
Yes.
100%. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Shannon. And yes, everyone, we will get you taken care of 100%. I just oh, I just saw a question from Constance. Shannon, I don't know if you saw, she wasn't able to join until just now. Will there be a replay?
Yes, there will be
Oh,
a replay. Um, Obviously, you registered for the webinar using your email address. So just be on the lookout in your inbox for that recording, which will probably be sent out by tomorrow.
wonderful. Yes, and some of you also asked me about my platform. Thank you for asking. That will also be included in the email tomorrow, but the platform is called youaligned.com. So YOU aligned, because our motto is mind, body, life alignment. So yeah, definitely check us out. I'm so proud of our platform. It's me and my husband. We've had it for 10 years. And yeah, it's been such a pleasure building and being a part of. So Thank you all so much. This is so lovely. I'll stay for the last 2 minutes just in case any last minute questions pop up. Carla, I'm going to post the homework again. Everyone, I just posted the homework again.
I believe that you're sending it to hosts and panelists, Ashton, rather than everyone. Oh, okay. Thank you, Mariah.
Oh, dang it, you guys. That's what happened. I sent it to the
No
analysts. Okay,
worries.
so there's the homework. There you go.
Perfect.
Good. Awesome. Oh, I was gonna say something else. All right. Oh, how do you feel about saying maybe you feel this in your legs? Oh, okay. Roseanne, I love this question right at the end. So you can, because I get what you're saying. What you're really is saying is like as an option, right? So I love offering options. So you can say, consider, or perhaps you, or as a different option to try. So those are alternatives to maybe. Not to say that maybe doesn't work. My one consideration with maybe is it might not sound definitive. Maybe you, right? I've used it. It depends on the context. So I'm not saying don't use it, but I also provided you some other ones. Yeah, consider, perhaps. Some people feel a certain way about the word variation, but you can say a variation to try. I have a very large diversity in levels in a lot of my in-person classes, so I will always build from the ground up, meaning I will deliver and demonstrate the beginner level, and then I will say, if you would like to add on, if you would like to try a variation, and you can do it the opposite way as well. If it is available to you, explore, see what happens if, ooh, okay, I'm gonna end with this. I know now we're over time, but another fun way is to ask a question. I wonder if. I wonder if you pulled your right hip back in pyramid pose, would it allow you, right? So it's a question, and then it's up to them if they want to answer it or not. So this is what I love about these forums. All of us are teachers. It's not just me. You all had excellent things to add to that question. Thank you. I do want to respect everyone's time. So Shannon, if we need to end it, we can end it. But thank you. I really appreciate you jumping in right at the end with that question, Roseanne. That was awesome.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank you so much,
everyone. Well,
Ashton.
Shannon, when are you having me back?
Very soon. You know what? We'd love to have you back. We really enjoy you and everything that you bring to our audience and to beYogi as well through our partnership. It's really amazing to work together. As always, it's always amazing.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, I love our community so much here, so I would love to come back. Yes, we will include the homework and the affirmations in the email. I see that. So I will make sure that gets included. I'm going to email that to Shannon right now.
Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you so much, Ashton, for your time. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and happy National Yoga Month.
Thank you all.